They picked up the body bag. He was in it. The doctor had already checked. No signs of life. And then something there made a noise. Spit.
He's alive. Dear God, he's alive. Help!
The man in the body bag was still alive. His name was Roy Benavidez. He was born in 1935 in a small town in Texas, the son of a Mexican farmer and a Yaqui Native American mother. By the time he was 7 years old, both of his parents were dead. Tuberculosis took them both. He moved in with his uncle, 8 cousins in the same house. Not enough food, not enough money, never enough of anything. He dropped out of school in 7th grade to work the fields. He shined shoes. He picked cotton. He labored on farms across Texas, New Mexico, and Colorado. This was Roy Benavidez at the beginning. Poor, orphan, invisible. But something inside him refused to stay that way. In 1955, he enlisted in the United States Army. It was the first decision he ever made entirely for himself.
Foreign and domestic.
Roy was on patrol with a South Vietnamese Army regiment when he stepped on a landmine. He woke up in a hospital in the Philippines, paralyzed from the waist down. The doctors at Fort Sam Houston delivered the verdict quietly. The damage to his spine was too severe. He would never walk again. They began preparing his medical discharge papers. Roy had other ideas. Every night, against medical orders, against everything the doctors told him, he pulled himself out of bed. He crawled to the wall using his elbows and his chin. And he tried to stand. Night after night, week after week, month after month. He started by wiggling his toes, then his feet, then his ankles. The other soldiers in his ward watched him. Many of them had lost limbs. Some would never leave their beds. They encouraged him anyway. Roy later admitted that this nightly ritual often left him in tears. He kept going. After more than a year in the hospital, Roy Benavidez walked out on his own 2 feet. His wife at his side, determined to go back. In January 1968, Roy returned to Vietnam. He requested assignment to Detachment B-56, a Special Forces unit running classified reconnaissance missions deep into enemy territory. His friends were there. That was reason enough. His fellow soldiers gave him a radio code name he wore with pride. Tango Mike Mike. That means Mexican. On the morning of May 2nd, 1968, Roy was at the forward operating base in Loc Ninh, listening to a radio. What he heard made his blood go cold. A 12-man Special Forces reconnaissance team had been inserted by helicopter into dense jungle west of Loc Ninh. Their mission: gather intelligence on confirmed large-scale North Vietnamese activity. They landed, and almost immediately, everything went wrong. They were surrounded, outnumbered, pinned down, not by a patrol, not by a squad, by a North Vietnamese battalion, over 1,000 men. 3 helicopters attempted extraction. All 3 were driven back by heavy fire. They returned to base. Wounded crew, damaged aircraft, no survivors recovered. The team was still out there, dying. Roy set down the radio. He grabbed his medical bag. He didn't wait for orders. He didn't ask for permission. He ran to one of the returning helicopters and climbed in. Nobody told him to go. Nobody could have stopped him. The helicopter dropped him, as close as it could get. Roy jumped out and ran 75 meters through open ground, directly into enemy fire. Before he even reached the team, he was hit. Right leg, face, head, running. He reached the team. Men down everywhere. Some dead. Some barely alive. Roy took charge. He repositioned the survivors, directed their fire, called in air support, administered first aid with one hand while fighting with the other. He was hit again. Again. At one point, a North Vietnamese soldier came at him with a bayonet. Roy pulled it out of his own body. Threw his knife. Killed him. And kept moving. 6 hours? 6 hours. For 6 hours, Roy Benavidez fought. An entire battalion. Wounded. Bleeding. Refusing to stop. He made trip after trip across open ground, carrying wounded men to extraction helicopters, retrieving classified documents, dragging the dead, so no one would be left behind. Only when every man had been loaded did he allow himself to be pulled into the last helicopter. When they landed at base camp, the medics examined him. 37 separate wounds, bullet holes, bayonet punctures, shrapnel tears. His jaw was broken. His intestines were exposed. He had been shot through the legs, the arms, the back, the abdomen. The doctor checked for a pulse. Nothing. He checked for breath. Nothing. They put Roy Benavidez in a body bag, zipped it up, placed him among the dead. A friend walked by, recognized his face through the open zipper, called for the doctor. The doctor came back, leaned down, examined him again, and Roy Benavidez, too weak to speak, spat out his last breath. The doctor froze. He was alive. Atauhi spent months recovering at Brooke Army Medical Center in San Antonio. The same hospital where doctors had once told him he would never walk again. He had 37 wounds to heal this time. He healed them all. What Roy did that day, 6 hours, one man against a battalion, saved the lives of at least 8 soldiers. His commanders knew it. The Army knew it. But there was a problem. To award the Medal of Honor, the highest military decoration in the United States, the Army required an eyewitness account. And as far as anyone knew, there were no living witnesses. Roy received the Distinguished Service Cross instead, the second highest honor, and he accepted it, quietly, without complaint. He retired from the Army in 1976. The story seemed to be over. Then, in 1980, a man in Fiji picked up a newspaper. It was an Australian reprint of a small article from El Campo, Texas, about Roy Benavidez. The man's name was Brian O'Connor. He had been the radio man on the team that day in 1968. Roy had believed him dead. He wasn't. O'Connor immediately contacted Roy and submitted a 10-page report. A full eyewitness account of everything that happened on May 2nd, 1968. 1981. President Ronald Reagan stood in the Pentagon. Roy Benavidez stood beside him. Reagan turned to the press before presenting the medal. He said, if the story of his heroism were a movie script, you would not believe it. Then he pinned the Medal of Honor on Roy Benavidez's chest. The room was silent. We are entering a new era. After the ceremony, Roy didn't disappear. He spent the rest of his life visiting schools, speaking to kids in poor neighborhoods, kids who looked like him, kids who felt invisible. He told them the same thing, over and over. Stay in school. Stay out of gangs. Your country needs you. The boy who dropped out of 7th grade to pick cotton was now the most decorated soldier of his generation. He never forgot where he came from. Roy Benavidez died in 1998. 37 wounds, a broken jaw, a paralyzed spine they said would never heal, 6 hours against 1,000 men. He survived all of it. Today, a United States Navy ship bears his name. Highways in Texas carry his name. Several works have been created to tell this incredible story. Our recommendation is the book, The Three Wars of Roy Benavidez, written by the man himself, Roy Benavidez. And somewhere, in a school in a poor Texas town, a kid who feels invisible is hearing his story for the first time. Roy Benavidez started with nothing. He became everything. If this story stayed with you, you know what to do. There are more of them, and we'll be here